All right, well, let's get into something that's way more important and that I'm way more excited about. And that's our main topic. And of course, having Jerica on here, since neither me and Jeff are really big Bioware fans, I feel like we're kind of obligated to get someone who actually knows what the hell they're talking about and maybe talk about Bioware a little bit. So for the main topic, I wanted to kind of just answer the question, what does a Bioware comeback look like? Because even with us not really being Bioware fans, I think whether you're a fan or not, it's very clear that they're kind of at a low point right now. Like, just even if you've enjoyed what they've put out just publicly and just like, success versus what has been the expectations, they're definitely not at a high right now. Just between Andromeda and Anthem.
Just always remember, folks, Kingdom Hearts 3 sold more than Anthem in America.
That's pretty wild.
I know.
It's pretty wild.
Pretty great.
So, Jerica, I'm just interested to know what you think a Bioware comeback looks like, and does it involve Anthem? Does it involve Mass Effect? Does it involve both?
It's so hard to tell because honestly, you think about it because like they put so much emphasis on this game, and I felt like Anthem was like the reason why they had limited resources and were pulling people all which ways from Andromeda or Mass Effect, because you can tell, because I've played them both, and you can tell there's assets used from both games. Like they were sharing assets, sharing workloads. I could tell. I don't know. Like I'm not like a business owner. I don't know what it's like to be a boss in a game studio. But there is something going on where Bioware is not matching like the current technology that's out there. I feel like they're behind where they need to be to make a great foundational game. As far as like what would bring them back, I don't think it's Anthem. I don't know what they're going to be able to do to back. Like Destiny barely has me. Like, and Destiny's a great game, and like whenever I sit down to play it, I play it for a few months at a time, and I enjoy it. And then I take a few months, like take a break, and I know I'm going to go back to it one day. Like I don't see what Anthem would do to bring me back. And it's so sad because like I played the trilogy for like Mass Effect trilogy for the first time in 2014, and I fell in love with it. I was like, this studio made a game where this choice in the first game matters in the third game. Like that's insane. And I also played them like back to back, so that was my perspective could be different from those waiting for each of those games coming out. But like the Bioware that I fell in love with is just it's not translating into what they're doing now. It's a different company. And it sounds like they've had a lot of problems, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that giant. I mean, whenever you have a giant Jason Schreier article written about you know you're probably not in a good spot. That's usually a bad sign.
And it's such a shame because like they're known for telling great stories. They're just not known. They've never been known for having great game mechanics. And like this game feels so good. There's never been a Mass Effect game that I felt like, God, the mechanics are great in this game. Like what drawn me to those games is a story. So like,
I mean, just from the outside looking in, Anthem seemed like it was a very new direction for BioWare.
Yeah.
Very, very new. I mean, they've been a story-focused like RPG company pretty much with Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and then suddenly they're doing this very systems and mechanics-based co-op experience, Destiny, looter shooter type experience. So I don't think that like BioWare has a ton of prestige in the industry, clearly, but I don't think that prestige necessarily lent themselves to this type of game, even though I think they were treated like it did. Like they were given the budget like this was a sure thing. Like, of course they're going to be able to make an amazing, gigantic looter shooter game, when I don't know if that was always in the cards. Like this was very different, and it was like if your very first attempt at doing something was like had millions of dollars behind it and was like seen as one of the biggest games of the entire year, and you've never done this before. That's daunting. It's very daunting.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, if Anthem was gonna be what everything I expected it to be, like I was gonna think, I feel like if they would have had more of a, like, that story in there, they would have had more of a, I don't know, less pushback, because like I play Bioware games to have a relationship, an actual relationship if you want, with like the characters in the game. Like they have great backstory, and even like with Andromeda, like it was similar, but like it didn't pull me in the same way. I didn't feel as connected. I don't know how you measure that and how you put that into a game, but definitely the writing was not the same for sure.
Well, and I also feel like it's kind of an inherently difficult thing to do in a predominantly multiplayer game. I mean, I think about a lot of like Borderlands or Monster Hunter World, or a lot of games that I play with friends. You're not paying attention to a lot of the writing and the cutscenes because you're goofing off with your friends.
In Monster Hunter, we always wish it wasn't there.
I mean, to be fair, the writing's pretty bad, Monster Hunter also, but that's beside the point. Yeah, I mean, that's their core strength, and I feel like it's just kind of incongruent with the type of game. I mean, like, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I don't even think like Destiny. I think a lot of people like the story, but I don't think anyone would ever say Destiny is something that they like have like on Mass Effect level of attachments to these characters. I don't think that's ever something that you would say, which it's a problem. And also, like, I agree with you that I don't know if a Bioware comeback could include Anthem, because part of it is the window's kind of come and gone, and even if they turn Anthem into the game that we always wanted it to be, like, you yourself have to be sold to come back, and you kind of have to convince all your friends that, like, hey, no, try Anthem again. I know we tried that, it was bad.
Because like all my friends play Destiny, or like they're playing Apex. Like, we're in this space where you can only have like one of these games occupying your time. Like, even for someone that's maybe for like a kid that's just in school and they're getting home and playing, like, what are my friends playing all at once? And that's where I'm drawn to. So like, I don't know if there's a space for this game. But then again, there's like Fortnite and Apex and PUBG. They live in the same world, but I don't know if there's much time that you have to, like, with Destiny, you have to grind. I guess that makes a difference. Like, you have to grind and upgrade your weapons. Like, I can't do that in Anthem 2. Even if Anthem was great, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there can't be two Destiny-esque games going on. Right. I don't know.
Like, they're designed to like take your time and to like
and conversation that we've been having the last couple of years. Like, how many more of these games can we have to be successful? Anthem seems to be one of the biggest ones where, hey, not all of them will be. Even if it is like number 4 sell this year, it sold a lot initially, then fell off a cliff.
Yeah, like
I can tell you one thing. Flying in the Javelin, perfect. That's great. The like moving around in the suit is freaking incredible. I had the most fun just flying around in that game.
But that seems like the biggest bummer is Anthem, is that it would almost be better if it was just a terrible, lousy, just broken game completely. But it seems like there's a lot of promise there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the mechanics of like moving around like in the job really impressed me. Like, fun. Like, I just fly around. Like, they should have given me like they shouldn't have tried to make it like this online multiplayer looter shooter game. It should have been like, you know, a story like I guess Titanfall maybe I haven't played Titanfall, but just like give me like a little bit of a story with like, I don't know. It's hard. I can't really explain Anthem. I really can't. Like, I don't know.
And part of it is a bummer because I'm sure the conversation that we're probably about to evolve into is, do they go back to Mass Effect and they kind of go back to the tried and true? But in some ways that's kind of sad to me, because like they were obviously, BioWare was like trying to move on and trying to move to this next new IP that they really believed in and do this, and you saw it work amazingly with like Gorilla moving from Killzone to
True.
Horizon. It was a similar thing. Like, this is a completely new genre, new IP, big budget behind it. Like, this could fail miserably.
Though they went into opposite directions.
Yeah.
Multiplayer, single player.
Yeah. But and that would be like, it would kind of be a bummer to say, like, Gorilla, you have to go back. I mean, I know Anthem was like, I'm saying that I think BioWare could have a comeback with a Mass Effect game. We're probably about to talk about that, but it's always going to be a little bit of a bummer to me that they, like, you could tell BioWare, like, believed in this game. They thought that this game was going to be, you know.
God, you make games for a living and you're playing it. Like, are you, like, feedback about, like, what people, I don't know. Like, they were definitely rushed and there were some problems. You know, cue up the Schreier article. So, like, there's a lot of moving parts, and
EA put way too much into, like, way too much was on the line for EA for this game too. For EA to be like, this game has to come out because we need this desperately.
These will come out this fiscal year, no exceptions.
Yeah, which when you hear the internal things, like, that led to a whole hell of a lot of problems. But yeah, it's telling when, like, I play Overwatch a lot. Like, that's kind of my ongoing game that I play, and I want to get another one. Like, I'm kind of, like, interested in, like, having another game like that. And right now I'm gonna go play Destiny. I mean, that's the one I'm gonna do if I'm gonna, like, rally my friends together to try a new game. It's gonna be that, and I just don't have any friends. I have so many friends who play, or I have several friends who play Overwatch and some who play Destiny and stuff. It's just I just can't see Anthem catching up at this point.
Oh, right now? No, there's no reason to go and jump on that train.
So, Jerica, I know Mass Effect is, like, your favorite series of all time. And obviously, I'm sure you would be over the moon about a new one.
Yeah.
I would,
at least literally take off my clothes and run around. Like, if they went back to, there you go. That's how I would do that.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we heard how that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I mean,
you see me running around outside.
7 remake might make me do that once I play it. That might be the one thing that makes me do that. But I am a little, just from the outside looking in, so I don't know nearly as much.
Yeah.
But I'm a little hesitant about, like, a modern BioWare, a modern Mass Effect. In what ways do you think it might need to change to be, like, I guess, like, looking at Andromeda, learning from those mistakes, like, what do you think a modern Mass Effect game looks like? And does it need to be tied to Shepard? Or does it need to be something new?
So, okay, like, also, like, a biased opinion, and then, of course, like, probably what it would be actually, like, realistic. I don't know, like, step one, like, this next Dragon Age game needs to set a standard. Like, they need to go back to their roots with Dragon Age. Like, I really hope that this game isn't also facing the same issues, which at this point I wouldn't be surprised. But after we get this next Dragon Age, I feel like, they're definitely, they've said it. They're, you know, hopefully they're not just saying these things to make us, like, feel better. But, like, we're working on it. Mass Effect isn't dead. We're working on it. I mean, I feel like, obviously, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went with Andromeda again. Like, if they try to make a part 2 to that, or something, maybe a prequel story. What a lot of people have been asking, you know, like, the First Contact War was, like, referenced in the trilogy, like, when a couple of the alien races were at war, like humans and Turians, and, like, that game during that time would be, like, super cool. What I want is a Mass Effect 4. Like, I want Shepard back. My ending, Shepard survived and everything was, you know, sort of cut off from Shepard. And I'm like, I really want that closure. And I want, you know, Shepard to see the crew again. That didn't give away too much. So if you ever decide you want to play, promise. There's a lot of different, there's three different endings, very similar, but one major difference. But, you know, that's what I want. And as far as, like, what I'd like to see, like, I just imagine, like, what Naughty Dog can do, which I know BioWare just known for. It's like, but man, if they can get into the type of cinematics that, you know, can really be like me watching a movie for cutscenes and, like, character dialogue options where, like, you know, instead of a character standing, like, right in front of another character conversation like this, like I sort of felt Andromeda was like that, and then like head spinning, like glitching out without that, of course, but like over the shoulder, like as they're moving, like God, like one frame, like something like that just makes it feel like a next gen game. Because Andromeda didn't feel like a next gen game. And that's why, even though it was very similar to what we love about Mass Effect, it didn't have the technology to back it. I guess that's because I've played, Uncharted, and I've played, God of War now, and I can definitely look back and say, man, we're at the pinnacle of like what games are supposed to look like.
Oh yeah.
Even back to like Horizon Zero Dawn, like, so that's what I would feel like Bioware would have to get really good at to make a good game.
Writing, like, I worry a little bit just that when the Mass Effect trilogy was coming out, I kind of feel like it was in a class of its own in a lot of ways, and it was very unique, and it was something that just the choices going from game to game and just everyone talking about, oh, what did you do here? What did you do this or whatever? That was a very unique and awesome thing for that time period. I feel like that as just a concept is less unique now. I feel like there are a lot of games that Mass Effect kind of paved the way for, but it's a similar situation to, I mean, almost like Borderlands coming back. It's working for Borderlands. Borderlands is coming back into an industry that evolved from their looter shooter concept, but it kind of seems like they're like, hey, there's still a place for us here, and it's working.
Back to the good old days, boys.
I hope Bioware can do something like that, but I just worry that even with the new Mass Effect game, we end up saying like, yeah, but like, look at God of War, look at this, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, Bioware has the capability of doing it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see like what this Dragon Age game is gonna, how it's gonna look and feel, and because that's gonna lay the groundwork for whatever happens with Mass Effect next. So I feel like if Dragon Age ends up being a flop, I mean, I'm very worried at that point. Very worried.
I can't remember. Were there rumors about what kind of game Dragon Age is supposed to be?
I know the one guy said live game like once in an interview, and then everyone like took that and ran with it. And the guy
I know it was really early on, so whatever we heard is kind of like, well, can't take this as
and the guy, I think the guy has since said like, I so regret saying that word. I'm so sorry that I said that word, but he's like, it's not like that. So who knows, really?
Who knows where we're even getting that? Because it sounds like that Dragon Age announcement was kind of last minute out of nowhere, and was it something like EA didn't know completely know, like Bioware just kind of on their own decided to do it at the last minute?
There was some weirdness to it, and the Game Awards thing was kind of nothing. It was just like
No, I remember like it's supposed to be very early on. I think Jason Schreier wrote that it's going to be a while before we see this.
Which I kind of worry that the EA Bioware pressure of like, this game is everything for us is just going to keep getting pushed on to the next Bioware game. Like, it was Anthem. Now it's going to be, well, Dragon Age has to be successful. And if that doesn't work, it's like, well, the next Mass Effect game has to be successful.
Guys, I got it. I know how to say Bioware. She was saying like how great the javelin flying is. Now imagine Bioware presents Iron Man.
I mean, I'd play it.
I mean,
Marvel's putting out their license to let everyone have a turn.
Man, I would play the shit out of that.
I would too. The flying is incredible.
You get the single player story. Hopefully, probably. You would think so, but then we got Avengers and whatever the world that's doing.
Hey, guys, did we just save Bioware?
You just say Bioware.
Yeah.
I think we just saved Bioware.
I think we did. There you go.
EA, I expect a check in the mail.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is kind of funny, though, how quickly it kind of seems like BioWare was like the one holding up EA and like the big prestige studio at EA.
Now it's Respawn.
All of a sudden, it's Respawn. Between Apex and now the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, it just seems like
so crazy.
Like that. It just turned.
Yeah.
Is Jedi Fallen Order the next Sekiro? You saw that quote, right?
No.
Apparently, they're inspired by Sekiro or something. I'm like, that's weird considering it just came out. And what does that mean?
Are we gonna start saying it's the Sekiro of this instead of Dark Souls?
It's the Sekiro of Star Wars games. Okay.
Is this the Dark Souls of video games?
Though I will say, I can't imagine how beloved this game would be if it actually, like, the combat was like Sekiro and as good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or even half as good.
it would be beloved by like nerds like us, but like little Billy who picked it up because it has lightsabers and it would be like, why am I dying over and over again? This game sucks.
That's why they literally have a baby mode.
But then the Dark Souls fans would hate it.
You're
So
right.
just-
You're right. You can't have difficulty setting them. Sorry.
Well, Jerica, do you have any last words? We either saved Bioware or we solved nothing. I don't know. I can't tell. But
I want Shepard back. I think it would be such a badass move because that's what the people want.
if they're
like,
going
even-
for nostalgia, that's the easiest
They gotta-
way to like at E3 or Game Awards. You're in space or whatever, and then suddenly you hear
Yeah.
Shepard's voice.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Oh man.
And then Jerica starts taking off her clothes.
There
around
goes my
here.
shirt. Yep.